What's up, guys? It's time to review a brand new Halloween fan film called Halloween Night, and I definitely think it's worth your time. Let's discuss. Halloween Night stars J.P. DiStefano, Anura DiStefano, Sandra Grossenberg, and is directed by J.P. DiStefano. What is up, guys? It's time to review a Halloween movie. Haven't done this in a while. This is a fan film. I don't review every fan film that comes my way, but sometimes the fan film just gets so much buzz and so much praise that I'm intrigued. And this was a movie that definitely intrigued me. And really the one thing that definitely intrigued me about this was that it involved Loomis. And Loomis is definitely like one of my favorite characters of the franchise. My number two, I mean, Myers is my number one, but Loomis is like right there next to the guy. I freaking love the character of Loomis. And so there is a descendant of Loomis, the grandson, in this movie, John Loomis. And we're gonna get into that. Now, first off, quick plot synopsis. As you can probably guess, the events of 1978, they take place in this movie. This is set in the present day. And you got this husband and wife, and they're preparing for a move. And of course, it's Halloween night, and everybody's getting ready for this big Halloween party. And of course, you know who shows up, the man himself, Michael Myers. Now, guys, it's a really simple plot, you know, and I don't think with the Halloween franchise, you have to go crazy with it. There's a lot of different things you can play with about the franchise. The evil of Myers, how crazy Loomis is, even Laurie Strode, you know. In the present day, you can play with characters that are descendants, or you can even create some brand new characters. And they do a little bit of all of that in this movie, actually. It's an hour long, and it feels like it flies right by. And I think when you have a great Halloween movie, that's what happens. You want more of it. And I wanted more of this movie after it flew by, and it was an hour long. Now, I believe the company that did this movie, they're based out of Texas, and you can really tell the blood, the sweat, and the tears that really went into this movie, and I appreciated that. It looked like a real Halloween movie for the most part, especially in the night scenes. The limitations of the budget, of course, are there from time to time, but you know, you're gonna deal with that when you're shooting a fan film. But I will say, there are elements of this movie that are just as good as some of the best sequels of the actual franchise, especially one of the kills that we're gonna get into. Now, first off, I guess let's talk about our main character, John Loomis, and really just talk about Loomis in general and how the creators utilized Loomis outside of just his ancestry. There is a moment in this movie that really gave me chill bumps when the main character, John, he's thinking back to his relationship with his grandfather. You know, there's this nice picture there of the two of them, and also with some really nice music in the background. They used like the prison guard scene from 2018, Halloween 2018, and I think it worked perfectly. And really, the score elements of this movie, you're gonna notice quite a few different cues from different entries into the franchise. And I like that. They're all placed beautifully, actually. But then, staying on Loomis, there's another section later in the movie when the tension is really ramped up. When John's wife finds his case file and she starts reading up on Loomis, and then we hear this Loomis dialogue, and this scene really sent chills down my spine. For the most part, it's from the first movie, but there's also like some elements of Halloween 6 in there when he's talking about, I guess, more of the family side of things. And again, chills, like major chills. You give me a Loomis memory in a movie, for some reason, it gets me. The Loomis scene in Halloween 2018, I loved it. It was great. It was amazing. Also, the beginning, there is a character that really reminded me of Bud, and I'm pretty sure that was intentional. You know, he's just the single guy, the ladies' man. He's talking to John about going to the party. Really, I like a lot of the characters in this movie, and I think that's just a testament to the quality work that the actors do in this. I think all of the acting in this for a fan film is really great. I mean, when we look at the movies throughout the franchise, of course, you're not gonna get the most amazing acting outside of, say, like Jamie Lee Curtis and of course Donald Pleasence. So I think a lot of the actors in this movie could pretty much stand up next to some of the regular actors in the franchise. I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, bad acting can take me out of a movie, and I didn't see any of that in this. Now, we all love a Michael Myers that stalks, and in this fan film, he definitely stalks. He's creepy, and If you had to pick apart the Myers in this movie, some might say the mask isn't the best mask, but he's still very effective in this movie. And I think that's just a testament to, you don't have to have the greatest mask to make your killer scary. You know, if you use lighting, if you use suspense, pacing, all that stuff factors into this. Music. It was a big eye-opener for me because, like I said, like if I did like a ranking of all the masks, of course this mask wouldn't be the best one, but this Myers is very effective actually. And there are moments with the lighting where the mask is very effective. It captures the essence of who Michael Myers is as a character, and it focuses on really that mystery. They don't give you much at all about Myers, aside from what we already know in this movie. You know, he came here to work, and that's it. So that's a positive. That's a big positive. And, you know, bouncing over to the kills, there's some fun kills in this, and then there's some really suspense, crazy kills in this. There's a scene I guess I like to call the Karate Kid scene, because this takes place on Halloween night. You're going to see trick-or-treaters everywhere, and there are these two trick-or-treaters that are dressed up like Cobra Kai and Daniel-san. I had a lot of fun with that scene. It was actually really funny. At the end of the scene, when Myers comes in, the comedy is pretty much sucked right out of it, and Myers does what he does best. And it reminded me of the scene in Halloween 2018 where you had Julian pretty much sucking the terror out of the scene. I guess filmmakers could take a note from this actual scene in this movie. They did it right. You know, it's okay to have some comedy in a scene as long as it's used properly, and it was used very effectively in this scene. Now, there's a character in this movie, Nancy. She's babysitting. Her boyfriend's over there, and they're about to get busy, but then all of a sudden the kids come home. And I like the way this scene started out. They're watching this show, and they're talking about the differences between like 70s and 80s horror and today's, not really just horror, but movies in general. And they even bring up like Marvel, comparing CGI to like practical effects and all that stuff. And there's pros and cons to both, but it was a fun conversation to start out the scene, because the scene gets extremely intense. And I will say, this is probably my favorite scene of the movie. I think the work that was put into this scene is so good, and the kill that happened, without spoiling anything, at the end of the scene, I think stacks up with some of the best kills of the franchise. And I really, really mean that. And you're gonna notice like a little homage to H2O in that scene too. At least I did. And of course, there's a great payoff. There's a really good final act in this. I could see it coming a mile away, because when you introduce a character that's the grandson of Loomis, that's just a lot of candy to play with right there. I mean, in general, I really loved this story actually, you know, leading this character up to that final act when his wife is having to go toe-to-toe with Myers. And by the way, she kicks ass actually in this scene, even before her husband gets there, which I thought was really cool. But in the end, guys, I think you really need to see this fan film. I had a blast with it actually, and I think it'll quench your Halloween thirst until Halloween Kills comes out. Well, hopefully it comes out, you know, with all this mess that's going on right now. And I've seen a few Halloween fan films, and this might be my favorite. It's really that good. So I'm gonna give this a purchase worthy, just a straight up purchase worthy. I think if they could have made this like an hour and a half, they had some great potential going there. It really captures all the elements that make the Halloween franchise work. And you could tell, like I said, that the team that was behind this, they really put in the effort. And I really loved it. I had a great time with it actually. So, post in the comments your thoughts on this movie. Have you seen it yet? And please support independent films, independent horror. This is just another example of that. Most of these are crowd-funded because it takes a lot of money to get these things off the ground if they're good. Also want to give a big shout out to Justin Simonson. He actually bought one of my F Off Wade t-shirts from the Drumdums store. You can get one. I'll put a link right here, a card right here, so you can get one. But he sent me a picture, and I wanted to show this picture off of his beautiful mug wearing this shirt. It looks awesome, Justin. Anyway, guys, be sure to come over to Killer Flicks, where we talk horror all day and every day, and on Fridays, we do Free For All Fridays. Follow me at Drumdums on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and Drumdum out.